never met. Forever leaves fast in the middle of the night. Forever breaks my heart and never says goodbye. Days and nights, skin and bone, I'm still you, but you moved on. I live inside an old photograph. I wish that I could feel your love again. So I live inside that old photograph. And I wish that I could feel your love again. Forever falls in love with the guy that wears sweater vests. She used to be mine, but now it's like we never met. Forever leaves fast in the middle of the night. Forever breaks my heart and never says goodbye.
Hello, 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 and welcome to the Windswept Rob Show. It's the Outer Ayrshire Broadcasting Corporation calling civilization. And I don't know if you heard or saw any of that at all, because I never know. I've got things happening on my left screen that tell me everything's okay, but I don't trust it. And I'm going to switch it away because it's very distracting too. Right? So the only thing I can rely on to know that it's working, I really should trust the tech, and if it tells me it's working, I should trust it. But I can't. I've got no confidence in it. The only confidence I have is in you, the viewers in the chat. Dare I even say fans of the show? And if you tell me you can hear me and see me, then I'll trust you. And I'm looking down now. Dave is telling me straight away, if I can find my cursor. Dave's telling me it's loud and clear. And I am in vision. Stevie's smiling with two big thumbs up. So I'm taking that as a good sign. Oh, look, I think when I put the two thumbs ups, I get all those fireworks happening in the background. And if I put one thumb up, and I don't know if it's this one or this one, sometimes a thumb comes up in bubbles like that. I've only been live streaming for 2 years, then a break, and now again for about, 3 months? So 2 years and 3 months, and I'm now starting to work out how things work here a little bit. But it's good that you can hear me and see me. And thanks very much for that, Don. I have to stop putting my thumb up because it's going to keep putting the bubble thumb up too. Thanks for that. Thanks for everybody who's telling me you can hear me and see me. That's good. Gives me a bit more confidence. Doesn't give me confidence that everything's going to stay this way. And the other thing that just occurred to me in the back of my brain and jumped to the front while I was speaking just 5-10 seconds ago was this. I have to get through this very quickly tonight. I have to be finished here at 8, and it's very, very different from my Wednesday show on the Audit Reaction YouTube channel, where I can take my time. I don't have to rush through. I don't have a stop time. For all of those who were in the live stream on Wednesday on the other channel, the Audit Reaction channel, I have finally worked out what was causing all of the stuttering in the second half of the show, in the second hour, because I live streamed for 2 hours and I've worked it out, and I believe I have solved it. Now, I can't test it tonight because the show only lasts an hour tonight, but on Wednesday when I do the Audit Reaction show again, I'll run it for 2 hours at least. I might even go over that, and it should hopefully not stutter at all because of the fixes that I have put in and the research that I've done all week. So that will be good if that happens. Dave, thanks very much for singing along with the intro song. I know it's one of your absolute favourites. And on my agenda tonight, which I have a substantial agenda written, there may be something that interests you. Note that in relation to your fondness of not necessarily just that song, but songs that I choose in general. Anyway, let's try to get through the agenda tonight in a nice, orderly fashion, shall we? So, the first thing that I have put up here is that I'll read it verbatim. What I wrote earlier on the day. By the way, it says up here. By the way, you'll see a tiny goal pop up. Now I don't know where you'll see the goal. Probably maybe in the chat or something. I don't know, because I don't have that particular chat up. I'll bring it up, even though it's going to confuse me. I don't know where it is. And I don't know, but there should be a pop-up somewhere. I don't know. It might pop up if someone does one of these things, right? It's a fun thing that I have noticed that YouTube is now allowing us creators to do on live streams. And I thought I'd do it. And it's totally optional. No one has to do this. I just thought, well, I'm going to try this feature out to see, first of all, if it works, and to see if it's any good on my live streams, my show. So it's a goal, I think, a super goal. And if we hit the goal, I think I've set. It's the first time I've ever tried it, so I may have it up, right? But I think I set a 30-minute goal to attempt to achieve 5 super chats from you. But hold on a minute, right? Members, there are members in, probably only members in. This is not for you, because you already support the channel. You support me and you support the channel, and it's absolutely not for you, unless you want to join in. That's up to you. But the goal is to achieve 5 super chats of any kind, any value, in 30 minutes. And if that happens, I will reveal the next location where I will be filming for the Scotland's entire coastline series of videos that I started last week at Gretna. I wouldn't be at Gretna tomorrow, but if we hit that goal of 5 super chats in 30 minutes, probably about 24 minutes remaining or something like that, then I will reveal the location where I'll be, which is a bit dangerous, as I'm sure you know, because if I start giving out information of where I'm going to be on a certain day, there are other people who could turn up there to have a wee word with me from the other channel, if you know what I mean. Anyway, so that it's just a fun thing. No one has to participate if they don't want to. If it just so happens that the goal is we hit the goal, I will reveal the location. If we don't hit the 5 super chat goal, then I wouldn't be revealing the location. So it's a win-win for me, because if we do hit it, I get a tiny wee bit of revenue, which will help towards the fuel for the journey to a location. And that's another reason that I've kind of, I want to introduce this wee goal every live stream, because it's very costly as fuel, as you know, and if I can have a goal and it helps me out a little bit with the fuel, then it helps me out. But so that's a win. But if we don't achieve it, then I don't have to reveal the location that I'm going to be at. And that's a win as well, because it means I'm not going to be on the lookout, looking over my shoulder for 5 skinny wee guys wearing masks and hats, carrying cameras, coming to Wind me up. Okay, that's all I want to say about that, and I've said far too much about that. It was written just as I was supposed to have said all of that in 5 seconds, and it was just a wee thing. So forgive me for going on and on as I do, as if I was on the Wednesday night show. Right, tonight isn't a call-in show, okay? This is my first agenda point. It's not a call-in show. It's just a relaxed chat night tonight, right? There's no phone-ins at all. The reason for that is that Eddie and I have been working on the phone call-ins. I have set up a director's booth in this studio over there at the back side of the studio, the other side of the studio, the back side of the studio. That's where I like to see Eddie. And he has his own monitor set up and interface and things like that. And Eddie's going to be handling the calls as they come in. He'll decide who comes on air, when they come on air, and send them to me, and I can just deal with the presenting of the show, if you like. But we haven't completely ironed out the audio paths yet. We're almost there, because I don't want to just throw it out and have a slapdash old amateur rubbishy show. I don't like that. I like to have things not professional, obviously, but as good as they can be. And we haven't ironed out that audio path yet. So that's why this is just a chat show tonight and not a call-in show. We're hoping to have the call-in show ready for next Sunday. We're sure we will, because we just have the audio path to sort out, and that's done. Okay, so this is really just a chance to catch up with everybody tonight, to share updates and talk about what's coming next, if you're interested in what's coming next in the world of Windswept Robert and Odd Reaction, which I won't be talking about tonight, right? Do want to mention one thing. Drone, before I went live tonight, there were a few people in the chat, and I come in always maybe 20, 15 minutes before the show starts. I come into the chat and have a wee bit of laid back and forth with some people. And Drone Shots brought up a really good point. Well, he said something that I thought, oh, that's something that I have to talk about. And Drone Shot said, in fact, let me see if I can bring up his comment, which is a way back here somewhere. Where it is. I will be able to bring it up. There you go. Drone Shot said, and this is before the show started tonight. He said, you do a real good job on explaining drones, and we need more of that in our community. Right. I'm sure most of you are aware. Maybe Drone Shots, you're not quite aware yet, but this channel, the Windswept Robert YouTube channel, I have changed direction with this channel. When I first started out, I was basically learning how to fly drones, and I thought when I first started, when I bought my very first drone, I thought, I'm just going to film my journey of me learning how to fly drones. I might as well. I'll just film it, and that way I can look back if I forget anything and see how I did it. So I started to do that, and then I thought, this was during COVID when I wasn't at work, nobody had anything to do, and we were all thinking, how can I fill my days? And I thought, I'm going to create a wee YouTube channel and I'll post these videos up. And it kind of evolved a little bit into, when I discovered something, I would work out how I did that, work out how DJI did it, and then I would create a tutorial video on it, and as Drone Shots has said there, create explain something to drones. Willie Pie, who has just, and can I actually do that? Can I bring it up on the screen? I can reply. I'm just going to quickly say thanks, and I don't know where this will go, if it popped up on the screen or not. I don't think it did. It did. It popped up in the chat. Willie Pie, thanks very much for your super chat. And that means, oh God, I've got it on the screen there. That means we're 1 out of 5 on the goal to hit before 7:30 for me to reveal the location of the next part of the entire series. Anyway, so back to what I was saying. Drone Shots. Thanks, Don. Back to what I was saying. Drone Shots. the channel has evolved. Well, I say evolved. I've changed a bit because I spent 4 years making tutorial videos and explaining how drones worked and explaining how RC controllers worked and showing people how to do things with waypoints and all if you've been following the channel, you know what I've done. I did for 4 years, and it got to the point where I thought, well, I've done a tutorial on everything there is to know about drones, filters, uh, control sticks, everything. There was nothing I could think of anymore to make a video on about teaching something or explaining something that I hadn't already done, right? And that was with the Mini 2, the Mini 3 Pro, and even with the Mavic 3. So I decided this wasn't the only reason that I decided to shift the vision of the channel, but this was probably the main reason at the time. I had no more explanations or tutorials to give other than rehashing things that I had already made tutorial videos on. And I didn't want to be one of these creators who if all they ever do is post firmware update videos. We've had a new firmware update from DJI. It says this blah 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 and this. And let's go out and test it. And it's like, good God, man, how boring is your life if that's all you've got to talk about? I do not want to be that guy or one of those guys. So I wasn't for doing that. So I thought, what am I going to do here? And I realised that I didn't buy the drone, my initial drone, to make tutorials for YouTube on drones. I bought the drone to explore Scotland in a way that I couldn't do it from the ground, to get a look at features of Scotland that I would otherwise never be able to see. So that's what I'm doing. I'm doing exactly that now. I'm exploring Scotland from the drone's eye view to see Scotland as it can never be seen from the ground by any photographer, even with a very long 3-metre selfie stick. Okay, and that's where the focus of the Windswept Rob channel is now. It's not on tutorials. I may occasionally do a wee tutorial if I discover something new that's like, oh my God, this is fantastic. I'm going to show everyone this thing and how to use it themselves. I don't think that's going to happen because what else could they possibly do that isn't just an improvement on something that already exists? So I can't see me doing that. However, I want to use the drone as it was intended to be used, to show a different point of view in videos and pictures. I won't be doing so many pictures, it'll be more videos of particularly Scotland because that's where I'm from. So that's where I am in the channel, Drone Shots. And if you're looking for tutorials and explanations on things, there are other creators out there who will do that kind of thing, so you can watch them if you like. You won't get that on a regular basis from the Windswept Robert YouTube channel. That wasn't even on my agenda. All of that was just from that comment that Drone Shots made during the pre-show chat. So I think I may need to start live streaming on Sundays at 6 o'clock instead of 7 o'clock, because I talk so much that maybe 1 hour isn't enough. And I don't want to go on past 8 o'clock for obvious reasons. Right, so I think I can bring that one up. I can. There you go. Willie Pie, super chat, £5. Thanks very much. Because you don't. I mean, I think £2. You can do a £2 one, but that's generous of you, and that gets us 1/5 of the way for me to reveal the location where I will be tomorrow, filming the next part of the drone series. Anyway. Right, Mickey the Moo, Lassie's videos were brilliant. Thanks very much. She will be over the moon when I tell her that. I think those videos were good as well because I was learning at the same time as the viewers of the videos that I was creating were learning as well. We were all learning at the same time because the drone had just come out, and as I was going out and flying and discovering something that I thought was amazing, I would make a video and say, look, I think this is amazing. And for anyone who hadn't discovered that, whatever it was themselves, would then go out and go, try it and say, it is amazing. I'm glad I saw that video. So that was all done with Lassie over the first two maybe 3 years of the channel. Then of course I got the Mini 3 Pro Caledonia and started to kind of not repeat tutorials, but I was doing the same tutorials to compare the Mini 3 Pro with the Mini 2. So aye, the early days it was good for that. But you must agree that I have explained everything there is to explain about, certainly Mini 2 and Mini 3 Pro. And that would cover Mini 4 and Mini 5, because there's nothing in the Mini 5 and Mini 4 that hasn't been covered with the Mini 2 and Mini 3 Pro, really. You know, it's just slightly better features. They're no different. And we can talk about obstacle avoidance, all round versus front and back, if you like, but I don't really want to, so I'm not going to. You guys can discuss it in the chat if you like. I want to get on with my agenda. Aeroplane spotters, you have managed to catch the live stream. It's on right now, and you're in it. There you go. And you continue on. You say you have a few drones and tried to help locate missing pets the other day, but no luck and not got a thermal drone. Have you seen the Mavic 3 thermal version? I noticed your comment earlier on today, as a matter of fact, on one of my videos. I can't remember where it was, but I remember you mentioning that it would be great if you could afford to buy and had a thermal drone, because there are lots of pets in your area go missing. And that made me think. I was sitting relaxing at the time when I read it, and I thought, I didn't think, oh, I'll have to remember to bring this up. But now that you do bring it up, I thought to myself at the time, how many pets are going missing from your area? That is a bit worrying. If there's so many pets going missing from your area that you are even considering thinking about buying a thermal drone to help find them, then I think your area has more to worry about than thermal drones. A thermal drone, I believe that is something that you should get if you're a professional in the business of using the thermal side and the thermal features in a drone on a regular basis that bring you a steady income. If it's just something you want as part of a hobby or to occasionally help out find the missing pet, then I think unless you have a money tree growing in your garden, and if you have, pluck some of those leaves and post them to me, please. But unless you have, there's no real need or reason for anyone to have a thermal drone if they're just a hobbyist. Unless it's to find missing pets, but you know, how often do they really justify spending the amount of money that it costs to buy a thermal drone? I don't know. I don't need thermal socks, my toes are toasty. Adventures with Sog, hello, nice to see you in here again, Sog, and see you on Wednesday too on the AR show. Right, good. I'm kind of up to date here with the chats as far as I'm aware, and that makes a good point. It's because of the fireworks. Okay, so if pets run away and because they're scared on the 5th of November, that means maybe on the 6th and the following week, for the next week, you may have a good use for the thermal drone. But is 1 week out of the whole year, does it justify the 5k that Stevie says somewhere here it would cost for a thermal drone? It doesn't for me, but it might for you. Right, moving on to the second agenda point, because we're at a third of the way through the show. and I've got 6 points to make. Right, some of you may have noticed there was an accidental live stream. I think it was yesterday. It's either yesterday or no, it wasn't yesterday. What's the day? This is Sunday. It was on Friday. There was an accidental live stream for 50 minutes with nothing on it except the background. And then the first few seconds is me here and then me disappearing. Thankfully, I had this mic muted. Because what had happened is Eddie was over and we were working out or trying to work out the sound paths for the call-in show, and I was giving Eddie some tutorials on how to be the director of the call-in show so that he could feed me the calls as they came in, and he could. What is going to happen is that as the calls come in, you'll be in a waiting room. Eddie will be managing that and directing that, and he will be messaging you, whoever is in that waiting room, back and forth about what do they want to speak about, making sure they're over 18, things like that. Just making sure everything's all right. And then Eddie will decide who's going to be up next, and he'll send a caller through to me live, and then you'll be live. Well, while we were doing that, I had earlier on prepared the live stream for tonight. This live stream here, I had prepared it in advance, as I always do. I prepared it 2 days in advance, and it was scheduled for 2 days' time. Somehow, and I still don't know how, somehow it went live certainly without us knowing about it, but also without my interaction, as far as I'm aware. I must have accidentally hit something to make it go live. Normally you get a go live, are you sure you want to go live? Yes, but there's none of that now. Now as soon as I hit the thing, start streaming, it goes live automatically. So I think I maybe accidentally hit something. And then I disappeared over, and Eddie and I were working at his station for like an hour or 50 minutes. And it was then when I came back and I saw a little bit of chat had popped up. I thought, what's going on here? And I realised I'm live, but this was muted. Because there was a lot of colourful language when I was trying to teach Eddie how to do very basic things like click a trackpad, and he couldn't grasp the concept. So the language was colourful. Thankfully, the mic was muted. So for anyone who noticed that live stream, it was accidental, and that's how it happened, right? I'm going to be very careful about that in future, because now that I know there's no warning, are you sure you would like to go live when you hit the live button? It just goes live as soon as you, and it's not even a live button. It used to be, I wouldn't go into it. There used to be 3 steps you had to take to go live, and now on the first step it goes live. So that caught me unawares. Anyway, so that is what happened. And if you had heard the audio and the language between Eddie and myself during that live stream, you may have unsubscribed. It was that colourful. Anyway, there you go. Paul says that explains the empty studio in front. Aye, for the first few seconds it wasn't empty, Paul. You actually see me at the desk for a few seconds, and that's obviously when I inadvertently hit the button. It's not the go live button anymore. It used to be. It's not the go live button now. So I accidentally hit a keystroke or something that made it go live, and I was unaware of it, and I walked away then. And I wasn't, because I wasn't doing anything at the desk here. I was over with Eddie at his station working on his side of things. So once I went round there, it was completely empty here. All you saw was the background, and of course there was no audio because this was muted. Right, so just wanted to clear that up for anyone who thought, what's going on? What is this? Is he sticking up a 50-minute video of live stream of his background thinking we'll watch? No, that's not what I was thinking at all. Okay, so that's the accidental live stream incident. That's how I've got it listed on my agenda. Aye, he wasn't half done. Eddie is an expert at pressing my buttons, I can tell you that. I sometimes don't know whether he's doing it on purpose or whether he genuinely doesn't know what I mean when I say just left click the trackpad, Eddie. You know? Or when I tell him, use two fingers to swipe up on the trackpad, Eddie. And when he can't work out what, or he doesn't do that, he does something else entirely. I still don't know if he's winding me up or if he genuinely hasn't understood what I've said or can he work it out. I don't know yet. And I've been pals with Eddie for almost 20 years. And I'm going to be talking more about something that Eddie and I have got planned that is very exciting for us. I don't know how exciting it will be for any of you, but that's coming up on agenda point 5, and I'm only at 2 at the moment, so I'm trying to get through it. We've got 33 seconds left for the super chats target, the super chat goal for tonight. The goal was to hit 5 super chats. We have hit 1 out of the 5. So it looks like I will not be revealing my location for tomorrow when I'm filming the second part of Scotland's entire coastline, which is a bit of a relief to me. But thanks to Dawn anyway for trying to get us to that goal. It didn't quite work. And I think the goal has now finished. If I look over at the other window, will it tell me the goal has finished? It might. It doesn't. I don't know. It's the first time I've ever tried it, so I don't really know how it works. But I believe it's finished now, and we hit 1 out of 5. So, no, I'm not telling you where I'm going tomorrow, okay? It could be anywhere in Scotland. Which is good for me, because it means no frauditors will turn up wanting to beat my head in. Peter says to Aeroplane Spotters that Peter helped a farmer who lives a couple of miles away to look for some sheep. He didn't find them, but he was able to eliminate a lot of the fields where they weren't, and they were found eventually. And Peter, I'm assuming that wasn't a thermal drone you had, that was just a drone. I actually did that too when I was up making a film at the K Park Burns Monument. A woman was shouting her dog, and I went out and said, "Look, have you lost your dog?" And she was like, "Yeah, he's a wee white Scottie." And I said, "Look, I've got my drone with me. Let me send my drone up and see if I can maybe locate him." Now, I didn't. It was a very heavily wooded area that the dog had gone into. And because it's not a thermal drone, I couldn't find it. But yeah, drones are quite handy for that, for spotting missing pets, I suppose. Stevie, I tried that as well. I have a Magic Mouse. I have a trackpad. He's using my MacBook Pro, which has a trackpad. There's also a Magic Mouse, but the problem is, if you use the mouse, it makes a slight noise when you move it about, and we're trying to eliminate any extraneous noise so that it doesn't slip into this mic, and and come onto the show. So no, it's the trackpad is what we want to use. Right, anyway, let me move on to agenda point number 3 and see if we can get to 6. We've got half an hour, so plenty of time. Right, this is what I'll be doing for the next while with this channel, the Windswept Rob YouTube channel. If you don't know, and I'm sure most of you do, I am going to be filming the entire coastline of Scotland, and I've already posted one video. Show you a little clip of it just now, and hope that the audio works as well. You can tell me in the chat if you can't hear any audio. But here's a little clip near the end of the video, which I know that even fans of the show might not get all the way through it, because it was a 29-minute video. So I understand if people get a bit fed up and a bit bored before the end and click away. So this little clip is near the end, and I won't play much, just maybe 10 seconds or so. Heading. The wall is back now. It looks like the audio is on it. Someone can confirm in the chat that they can hear the audio. And he's hearing it back at an unbelievable pace. flying back down that coast, 17 metres per second, with that tailwind helping them all the way. Okay, Dave, thanks for that. Dave says there's an echo. There's an echo when I speak over there, but is an echo on its own, no echo. Right, so there's no echo from the actual video itself, like this. Well, there's no echo from the video itself. But there's an echo. Right, that's good. Thanks for that, Dave and Stevie. I now know that there's a wee problem with my mic chain on that second screen, and I know not to talk when I'm on that screen. So that's fine. So that was a wee clip from the first episode. It was near the end of the video, which many of you may not have got all the way through. And that was a flight from the very first part of Scotland's coastline. And I had an argument with Eddie about this, who said, no, it isn't. The first part of Scotland's coastline's Proudfoot. And I said, how is that? And he said, because there's a river there. And I said, Eddie, I'm talking about the coastline, no a river, not the banks of a river. And eventually I won the argument because I just tell Eddie, shut up, you're wrong, and I'm right. And that's how I usually win my arguments with Eddie. So that was the first video, and it was from Gretna, right at the Scottish border, right at the bridge that crosses over the B, whatever it is, and the River Sark, which is the border between Scotland and England, at Gretna, is. And I walked down it where the Sark flows into the channel of the Esk and then eventually flows in to the Solway Firth. So that River Sark, as I walked down it, that wasn't the first part of the coast. Eddie thought that's what I was talking about. But as I walked down the river showing where I am going towards it, it opens up into the channel of the Esk and then the Solway Firth. So that was the first part. And I flew the drone, it was the Mavic 3, approximately 2 kilometres along the coast with full visual line of sight at all times because he's huge. Not only is he huge, he had an Insta3 attached to the bottom of it with a mount. So the footprint is massive and he can be seen for 2 kilometres easily. So that was the first part. And the point I'm making here is that this is the way the channel is going to be for the next while. Every week I'm going to be going out to the next part of the coastline of Scotland and filming it. And I'm going all the way around from Gretna, all the way up the west coast, only on the mainland at the moment, and right up to the north, Wick, Caithness, and then back down the other side, Lossiemouth, Elgin, Aberdeen, Dundee, Edinburgh, and eventually end in Berwick, which is the border at the other side, on the east coast, where the border between Scotland and England is. So that's where I'll be ending, but that won't be for between 6 months and a year. But every week, that is the type of video, that is the video that will be coming out. There may be, in addition to those videos, there may be other videos that during the week I go out and film for the Windswept Rob channel also. And you may see those popping up too. But every week regularly, that will be the main menu of the Windswept Rob channel will be the series of videos around Scotland's coast. Now, I'm hoping that I'll be able to have a look at some really interesting spots and locations as I travel round, and maybe meet some interesting people and have a chat with them, and hopefully encourage some of them, coax some of them to come on camera with me and have a wee chat with me. I'm hoping that that happens. Don't know if it will or not, but Scots like to talk, and they're very friendly. So I'm hoping that a lot of them will agree to that, and we'll see how it goes. So that's what this channel is going to be about. And like I said, there may be occasional other wee videos that I decide, oh, something interesting happened there, or this was a thing that I wanted to do, and I'll go out and do it in addition. And as I said as well, if I discover something, a new feature, or something happens with the drone world that is like earth shattering, then I may do a video on that as well. And there'll also be every Sunday, there will be a live stream from the Windswept Rob show. Okay, so that's where this channel's going. And moving on swiftly, because I'm down to 20 minutes left. Where does the time go? Right, so I'll skip past tomorrow, agenda point 4, which I was going to talk about tomorrow's filming, but I really was going to only talk about that if we hit the goal that I started at the beginning, which was to get the five super chats, and we didn't hit that. So I can safely skip part 4, which is I was going to talk about the filming that I'm doing tomorrow. So I'm going to skip past that, and I'm going to talk about something now, my 5th point, which is something that's really exciting for me and for Eddie, that may be of no interest whatsoever for anyone else. But I don't know, it might be. So I have decided, and I've coaxed Eddie into joining me on this mission. For those of you who don't know, Eddie and I are retired musicians. Now, as a musician, you never really retire. You continue to make music. It's just that we don't go out and gig and perform anymore. We've played festivals up and down the country. We've played pubs, hotels, weddings, bar mitzvahs, every kind of gig imaginable. We've done it. The number of Hogmanay gigs we've done, Christmas dues, business, corporate dues. We've done it all, right? You know, over 20 years we've gigged everywhere. We both play multiple instruments, guitars, basses, drums, keyboards, harmonica even, mandolin, banjo, ukulele. We play multiple instruments, and although Eddie doesn't sing lead vocals, he is a master harmonist, and he sings backup vocals and harmonises with my main lead vocal. When we play guitar, Eddie usually takes on the role of lead guitar, because as I sing most of the songs, then rhythm is guitar is generally what I do. Anyway, that's the background. Excuse me, just a second. This shouldn't turn colourless like the orange drink I had. You should see that this is blackcurrant. It's actually Vimto, diluting Vimto. Anyway, so that's our background. But when I became ill and got long COVID, Eddie also at the same time and coincidentally developed COPD, which it meant for us that gigging was almost impossible. Going out and performing live became impossible for us. I couldn't remember the songs or the chords or anything. I almost couldn't remember how to play my guitar. And Eddie had trouble being on stage for 3 hours, which is what you have to do if you're out gigging. So we retired from that. But we were Don says he's learning ukulele now. I went with the wee into a George Formby weekend conference thingy in Blackpool a couple of years back, where there were ukulele lessons being given in some of the rooms, and George Formby movies playing, and large ukulele orchestras giving small concerts. It was fantastic. So you should look out for that in Blackpool. It happens every year. Um, so anyway, Eddie and I, we've been talking for a while now about getting back out and gigging again because we miss it. Any musician, performing musician, knows that it's a love, and it's hard when you have to stop doing it. So Eddie and I have been talking about going back out and gigging for a while now, but neither of us are really fit enough to do it. So what we've decided or what I decided to do, and asked Eddie if he was up for it, because I have all the technical equipment and pretty much the technical know-how to create a gig in the studio and do it live on YouTube. And I might even simultaneously stream to Facebook and Twitch and at the same time. But we can do a gig and interact with the chat. We can put the chat up on the big screen, and as it comes up, we can interact with it. Maybe even take your requests for songs, and have a very relaxed time doing that. So we have. I spoke to Eddie about it. Eddie's up for it. He's like, yeah, that would be fantastic, because it means we don't have to, load up the vehicles with all the gear and then unload it at the venue, build the stage, then go on and perform for 3 hours, tear the stage down, load it back into the vehicles, drive all the way back to base, and then unload all the gear, which we're not capable of doing. We can just sit in my studio here, which will be, I've got an area set up in the studio for this kind of thing, and we can have it set up permanently, and just on the night that we decide to do it, which we're thinking about a Saturday night, because that's when most people would go out to gigs, Saturday night. But it's very expensive now, and people don't really want to go out. So we thought, you don't have to go out. We'll bring the gig to you in your home. You can sit back in your chair, recline it on your big 75-inch telly, and be a live gig. Right? So that's the plan, and we've started to work on it now, and there will be a new channel coming out very soon. It's a third channel that I've got that has been just sitting gathering dust for years and years. So I am going to be reviving that, and I'll give you all notice on that, and obviously I'll plug it on this Windswept Robert channel, and I'll also plug it on my Audit Reaction channel. Give you all the links and let you know when it's starting and what times it will be running. But the plan is to have it weekly, once a week, every week, probably on a Saturday night, but not necessarily, because a lot of people still do want to go out on a Saturday night. So we may make it a midweek event. We haven't decided that completely. We haven't locked that down yet. So that's what we are planning just now, which is in addition to everything else that I'm doing. And I kind of wanted to bring it up tonight as an agenda point, because I wanted your input on it. And I know there's probably not a lot of people in. How many people? 13 people in or something like that. I know there's not a lot of people in, but I value the opinions of the people that come into my live stream. You all have at one point or another over the years given me some advice that or suggestions I have taken and have worked out really well. So I value your advice, your opinions, your suggestions, and I look for them. I look for them now. Now I'm not. I may have missed some things that people have said already, but I will go over this chat later on and have a good read through it. But this show it's not gonna. It will never ever be monetized, because a lot of the songs that we'll be singing are not our own. We'll sing a lot. We have written a lot of stuff over the years, so we will be singing maybe a couple, two, maybe three songs of our own songs every gig. But most of the gig, or the live stream, if you like, will be cover versions. So we they're all copyrighted, so we can't monetize the channel. So we won't be making any revenue from it other than any tips that we get in. Like, if you're an American, you'll understand if you go into a piano bar and you want to request a song for the piano man, you have to go up and put a $5 or $10 or $100 into his jar and say, "Play the Piano Man by Billy Joel, please." And if the tip's good enough, he'll go, "Yes, sir, I certainly will." And away he'll go. So we'll maybe have something like a tip jar set up. And if you really want a particular request, if you throw $1 in the tip jar, you may get it. But other than that, the channel wouldn't be monetized, and we wouldn't be making a penny. But what the reason we're doing it is because, like I said, as musicians, you have to perform. You just have to. It's in your blood. And when you're not performing, you feel empty. There's something missing from your life. And so that fills that gap for us. We'll be performing again. We won't be live on stage to an audience, which is great. I mean, there's nothing better than getting that buzz and hum that the audience, give you when you get their feedback live. We won't have any feedback other than the comments like, "That was garbage, man." "That's crap. You playing all the wrong notes." We'll see the comments because I'll have a big screen rigged up so that as we're playing, we can see the comments, we can see the chat. So we won't get any live audience feedback as we have done in the years gone past, but we'll get the feedback through the chat, and we may develop it more. We may occasionally have a guest in to sing for us or to play an instrument in the studio, and the guest may even be one of you. Who knows? If you're a musician and you don't mind travelling the distance to get here, we may even arrange it with you for you to come and be part of the gig that night and do a couple of songs either on your own or with us. Who knows? There's a lot that can come from this. So we're looking forward to that very much. As the time rapidly approaches 10 to 8. Where does the time go? So Dave says, Windswept Unplugged. We actually have already formed the name of the band, the duo. Should I reveal it just now or not? No, I won't reveal it. I'll tell you what. Here's the thing. We have chosen a name for the band already. And we're going to be working on getting the neon lights and things for it and the proper backdrop and the banners for the channel and everything. But here's the thing. When I come on live next Sunday night, I'll set another goal. And the goal will be the same. It'll be 5 super chats of any value. And if we achieve the goal in 30 minutes, I'll reveal the name of the band, right? If not, you just have to wait for the channel. Now, it's probably going to take another month to get the channel sorted up and ready to go properly. But and I'll reveal the name then on the very first gig. But I'll set that goal next week, and if we achieve it, I will tell you the name of the band, which is, I think it's a great name. Right. Dave says there's 13 watching and there's 9 likes. He's encouraging you to press the thumbs. And here is a bubbly thumb for you. It never comes when I tell it. Oh, there you go. Here's a bubbly thumb just for you to encourage you to click that thumb up. And here's some fireworks. Do you want to see some fireworks? It never happens when I actually try to make it happen. only happens when I've accident. Oh, there you go. Finally the fireworks pop up. I have to work out how these things are working. I don't know. I've got no idea. Anyway, right, okay. That is a line there, Dave Cullen, from a Billy Connolly song, I believe, right? Which we may be doing a couple of. I'm a big fan of Billy Connolly, but his banjo playing is absolutely chef's kiss. A lot of people don't realise that about Connolly, how fantastic a banjo player he is, as well as being one of the greatest comics in history. He's one of the greatest banjo players in history too. He's brilliant. So I'm a big fan of Billy Connolly. and that is from a song that he sings on one of his. It's 10 guitars actually that he sings on one of his albums, and we might cover that one. Eddie and I have actually covered it in the past live. We may cover it again. Oh, I didn't realise that, Dave. When did you hear me singing Caledonia? Was it in one of my videos or something? Yeah, it's possible. I've got a fantastic video. It's only on Facebook actually that I recorded with my daughter, who's a fantastic singer. She went to stage school, my daughter, and when she was young, and I got her to record with me a video for my dad's birthday 4 or 5 years ago, and it was a duet that we did with just me and the guitar and my daughter, and it was it's really quite good. I may actually put that on one week just to let you see it and hear how good my daughter actually is. Right, anyway, what's the time there? Oh, look at that. It's 1953. Right, okay. That's a bit a Billy Joel-esque you've got there going. Don't test my musical knowledge, Dave Cullen. Right? It's very good. Yours obviously is too. Stevie, I think that's probably, yeah, probably you could say online busker. I mean, we won't be looking hard for donations or anything like that, but there will be a tip jar there for anyone who wants to throw a couple of coins in it. And we will be, singing songs that we like and love. And just to let you know, Eddie is a massive, massive Status Quo fan. He's very knowledgeable about the entire musical catalogue of Status Quo, right for the 60s, right through. He can tell you anything about them. And he's been to gazillions of their live concerts. So Eddie's a massive Quo fan, and we do quite a few Quo numbers in our set, or we did in our set when we were performing. We've actually been off the circuit. We haven't gigged for, I think, 4 years now. It's about 4 years since we retired from it. Maybe 3 years, maybe 3 or 4 years since we retired from it. So it's time we get back into it, and we will be. So yeah, possibly Stevie, possibly an online busker might be a good way to phrase that. I don't know. And I know it's not anything unique. It's not anything that anyone hasn't done before. And it's certainly during the lockdowns, the COVID lockdowns, every musician was doing it because they couldn't get out and perform because we were locked down. So a lot of musicians decided to do exactly this, and they had tip jars and things, and it worked out very well for that period of time for them. I didn't do it because I liked that feedback from a live audience, but I can't even get that now because we can't perform because we're too old and crippled to to perform anymore. So this is just another way of doing that. In there, Button Moon has now mentioned Jerry Rafferty, and this is great because he and Billy Connolly were in a duo called the Humble Bums back in the day, and they were fantastic too, right? So that will be, there's something about that will be interesting to reveal if I get the goal hit next week, and if not, when the channel finally goes live. Right, okay, I'm going to wrap up now because of 4 minutes to go. Going to wrap up, and because I want to go back over the chat here and look at a few things, and I also want to. There's a couple other things that I need to do because I've got a lot going on now with the Windswept Rob channel, the Audit Reaction channel, this new channel that me and Eddie are going to be singing and live on, my 2DEO VR channels, which are starting to take off quite well actually. Planning for the video for tomorrow, which most of the planning is already done, but I just have to make sure I've got my gear all on charge and fully ready to go. I did that this afternoon, but I need to go and check it. And so please tune in to the Audit Reaction show live on Wednesday. It's normally 7 o'clock. I may go on at 6 o'clock. You'll get a, hopefully, if you're subscribed to the channel and you've hit the notifications bell, you'll get a notification of that when it's going to go live. I'll probably go live at 6 o'clock instead of 7, and that means that I can, if there is any of that stuttering that happens in the second half, and I'll explain on that channel on Wednesday why I believe there was stuttering. I'm not going to do it just now because it's not relative to this, or relevant, sorry, to this channel. I'll do that on Wednesday. So tune in on Wednesday to that live chat. It won't be a call in, it will just be a chat, a chat the same as this one. And unless I've got the audio paths sorted out by then, and I get Eddie over to direct, I may do a wee call-in section in it. Watch out for the video that should be appearing at the weekend, the one that I'm starting to film tomorrow. And thanks everybody, in particular Wally Pie, Dawn, I'd like to thank you for doing your utmost to try and hit that goal tonight. You were the only one that attempted it, and I do thank you very much for that. So until I see you again here next Sunday at 7, or on the Audit Reaction channel on Wednesday, probably at 6 o'clock, all I can say is cheerio the now.